guys, it's Lisa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about Calathea. I'm including all the little subspecies in this video under Calathea. So that's ctenanthe, maranta, stromanthe, Calathea obviously, and I don't think I have any others. Anyway, if I do, we will find out later. So I thought I would do a little collection video on them. I thought I'd include a little care info in this video as well. I'll start with light. So I actually have all of these guys. Some of them are in different positions to others. So as a general rule, they definitely do not like direct sun at all. So no direct sun. So you always want them to be in some kind of filtered light. So they can survive in low light. I have that live in low light, and I mean low light, like there's no light. It's in the middle of my room, so miles away from any windows, and both of them have survived. They don't grow very much. I probably get one leaf every 6 months, if that. So that's the downside of having them in a low light spot, but I just love them. I don't want to get rid of them, and I don't really have anywhere that's more suitable for them, so that's where they live. Then I have a few that are in, I would say, medium indirect light, so probably not, I wouldn't say bright, but yeah, definitely medium. They actually sit right where I am now, so they pretty much get some sun all day long, but it's not a whole lot of light, but it is the sunniest spot in my house, like in general. And then I have some that also live in my bathroom, and again I'd say that in medium light. It's very filtered light. This is the windowsill, there's a wall like this, and they're on a sink which is down here. So yeah, it's very, very filtered light. You know what, I'll just show you my bathroom, and then that way you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it's a bit hard to like explain things with my hands. I'll put a little clip inserted somewhere here showing you what my bathroom looks like and where the Calatheas are, so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. This is where my Calathea sit in my bathroom, so they sit on the sink here. I've had to turn the light on because it is so dark at the moment, but so as you can see, there's this big wall, and then the window is all the way up there, so they're not getting any direct light at all, especially the Zebrina. He's like in a corner, so he's in the most shady spot, and the Maranta gets the most light of all of them. So yeah, that's kind of what my light situation is like. If I turn off the light, you can see how dark it is, but you can see that Zebrina is getting way less light than the Maranta is, because he's got a more direct line of sight to the sun, whereas the Zebrina is in the corner, so he's got no direct line of sun. They all are doing really well in here. The humidity really helps, and in summertime it is much, much, much brighter, so that definitely helps too. But yeah, so that's kind of their light situation. So yeah, that's basically light, so they can tolerate anywhere between low and bright and direct light. Obviously bright and direct light is going to be better because they're going to grow faster, but they will survive in a low light spot. Next we'll talk about soil. So I have them all in the same potting mix as I have all my other plants in, so that is 50% succulent mixed 50% pumice, so a nice well draining mix. Which leads me into talking about watering. So a lot of the main advice for these guys is that they like to be kept moist. Yeah, I don't do that. I did for a long time because everyone said no, they need to be moist, blah blah blah. I think I lost 5 or 6 of them to root rot, and yeah, they just were never happy. They died, they got brown spots like all around the leaf, they went all crispy, some of them wrinkled right up, they just hated it. So one day I said, nah, I'm not going to even bother doing that anymore, I'm just going to treat them the same as all my other plants. So now I let them dry out between watering, and they're doing so much better. So that's what I do. I mean, might not be for everybody, everybody's going to have their own opinion on this, but that's just what I do. And yeah, since I've been doing that, I haven't had any die on me, and yeah, they're all doing really great. I haven't had much issues with crispy leaves at all anymore. Definitely not had any like brown ones that wrinkled right up. Most I get is a little bit of a crisp on the tips, which I'll show you an example when I go through the plants of the most amount of crisp that I get nowadays. And also with the watering, another thing that can help prevent crispy leaves is also watering them with rainwater or distilled water, which is what I do. So I don't use tap water as they're more susceptible to the chlorine in our taps than any other plant, even though we don't really have that much chlorine in our tap water in New Zealand anyway. But yeah, I have found that has made a big difference for how much crispy leaves they get as well. So yeah, that's definitely something I recommend. Some people say that you can leave a bottle of water out for a couple of days and that gets rid of the excess like chemicals, but yeah, I just use rainwater because we collect it, and I also have a jug that distills water, so if we don't have any rainwater I use that and just distill the water so I know that there's no chemicals in it. So yeah, that is watering. And lastly, humidity. So humidity is really important for these guys. They love humidity. I found that some love it more than others. As I go through my collection, I'll say which ones love it more than others. There's a few that they just have massive sulk if they have not enough humidity, and then there's others who don't seem to really care. So the ones that I keep in my bathroom are the ones that have a big sulk when they don't have much humidity. So yeah, I just do that. I don't have a humidifier in my house. I just keep them in the bathroom and they're all good. And my house is pretty humid anyway. I don't think it's ever dropped below 60%. And quite often in summertime especially, it can get into the 80-90%. So yeah, it's definitely very humid in here. Obviously it's one room and there's so many plants in here and they all create humidity. There's definitely some that without enough humidity, man, they sulk like no tomorrow. I'll point them out as I talk about them. There's a couple I have. Yeah, if I move them out of the bathroom, they'll probably just die. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyway, and the last thing I will just say about them is, although I haven't actually had any issues with this, Calathea and all the subspecies, they can be quite prone to spider mites, so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. None of mine have ever had spider mites, touch wood, but yeah, I have heard that they're quite prone to it, and I quite often see posts of people with them and they have spider mites, so hopefully mine never get spider mites, but you never know. But it's just something to be wary of. So if you have some, yeah, make sure you're checking them regularly as well, just in case. Oh, and something important to mention that is really cool with Calathea, they're also known as prayer plants. So basically what that means is in the daytime their leaves go like this, and at nighttime they all fold up because they're praying. So I've seen so many posts on social media, people saying, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my plant? It's like sticking up or it's droopy. Yeah, it's totally normal. That's what they do. So it's really fun to watch or do like a slow-mo or like a time lapse of it. Yeah, it's so cool. Okay, so that's pretty much all my care tips that I have for them. I'm no expert by any means on these guys. Like, I definitely could be a better Calathea plant mum, but that's just what I have figured out so far, what works for me for the most part, and as well as what kind of information I see out there as well and what people are saying. So yeah, and I've just experimented a bit. I've had quite a few die, and so I kind of am starting to work out what works, what doesn't work for me. And yeah, it's a bit of trial and error, so don't get down if you get one and it doesn't survive. Just learn from your mistakes, and you know, with perseverance you can figure it out. I just have never given up on them, and I've got some that like loving life, so yeah, just keep persevering. That's the key, I think. You'll be all good. Okay, I just moved the peace lilies so that there's room for the other guys. So let's get started with my Califia collection. The first one I'll show you is one of my favourites. It's this guy. This is my Califia makoyana. Trying not to tip all the soil out. That's him there. Isn't he beautiful? This is one of my favourites. He's stunning. I'll show you the underside. That's probably one of my favourite parts, the underside of the leaf. So cool. Unfortunately, I've got some that don't have very much, and these are leaves that grew while it's been living in low light. So this is one of the plants that I mentioned. I have two that live in low light. This one lives in low light. So when I got him, he probably put out like 6 leaves in one go and then just stopped growing. He hasn't grown a new leaf in over a year, which is a bit sad, but I mean, he still looks beautiful. He hasn't died. He's doing pretty good. This one is one of the ones that I personally think is one of the easiest Calathea to care for, and he's also one of the ones that I would say doesn't need as much humidity as others. Like he doesn't seem to be that affected by not having extra humidity. You can see he has a few leaves with a little bit of crisp, like this one here and this leaf here, but for the most part if he gets any crispy leaves I just chop it off. But looking at him, he's only got like 3 or 4 and it's a very mild crisp, so I'm not too concerned about it. And I would say that that is more likely from me not watering him in time for what he would like. So he is stunning, very easy care. I would recommend this Calathea if you haven't got any and you want to try them out. Yeah, I reckon he's the easiest to look after, and he doesn't really sulk that much if you miss the watering. Like, that's the most I got. And I've had him for probably a year or so now, and yeah, he's doing great even in his low light spot. So he's beautiful. So yeah, that's him. I love him, as you can tell. Okay, the next one I will talk about is the one that I have had the longest, and funnily enough, he's one of my smallest. This is this guy. Honestly, I don't know what his name is. I'm pretty sure it was Califia Lensofolia, but I feel like I've seen something about him having a name change. So I'll have a look and see if I can find it, and if I can, I'll pop it down here. But yeah, otherwise he's just known as a Califia rattlesnake. That's what I know him as. So this was my first one that I ever got, and one of the plants that actually made me really want indoor plants. Like I saw him one day at Palmer's. I thought about him for like 2 weeks, and then I was like, I need him, he's so stunning, and then I got him. So he's been through a bit of a ringer. This guy was very nice and full and big when I got him, and I nearly lost him to root rot. All his leaves went brown and crispy, and I basically was like cutting them off. I don't know if you can see here, but see if you can see this little crisp on the side. So all of the leaves had that, but like all the way along the leaves, and then it started to get towards the center, and so some of the leaves were just completely like brown. And yeah, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just start letting them dry out between watering. Did that, and never had an issue with him since. So yeah, he puts out one leaf for me every maybe 8 months or so, because he lives in a low light spot with the Maquiana. But he's beautiful. I love his foliage. I've actually been thinking about buying another one and adding it to the pot, just so that at least he looks nice and big and full. Even if he's not going to grow, he'll look a bit fuller. I think I've repotted him a few times, trying to get him out of soil that was too wet. And yeah, I just let him dry out so much now. I just forget about him. I don't even know when the last time I watered him was, to be honest. Like, it was probably at least a month ago. It looks like he's ready for a water now, because some of his leaves are quite feeling a little bit thin, especially this one. So I'll probably give him a water after this video. Like, he's just beautiful. Yeah, so that's him. And he's got nice purple leaves in the back. As you can see, again, these 2 leaves have grown in his low light spot, and he hasn't got the purple. But the rest of his leaves, which are his original leaves from when I first got him, they have the nice dark purple on the back. And he really likes to prey, this guy. So that's him. Okay, the next plant is a favourite of a lot of people. This is Stromathy Trieste. This is my one. I love him. One of my favourite plants. Ugh, isn't he beautiful? He's so beautiful. I love him so much. And look at the back. How beautiful. Look at this leaf. Wow, he looks so good on camera as well. I actually saw some of these at King's today when I was there. So that's really cool, but if you can get quite a big one, and I think they were about $60 or $70. So I actually paid $50 for this guy, and he was a lot smaller. He was probably 3, maybe 4 leaves when I got him. They all got really damaged in the post and were all brown and ugly. This leaf here is the only leaf still remaining from in the post. I just haven't cut it because it's the only leaf on a stem, so I would like eventually for a leaf to come out of the stem. So I've just left it, but you can see he's a bit damaged. So he's the only leaf still from the original, and the rest have grown since I got him, and I would cut off an ugly leaf as a new leaf grew until I got all of these leaves. Yeah, he's just beautiful. He's growing really fast. You can see how many like growth points he's put out in this. So yeah, it kind of looks like he's got 4 major growth points. I have a ctenanthe tricolor as well, which I will show you guys later. It's huge, so I'm gonna have to like move it outside and show you or something. But when I show you it, I'll do a comparison or side by side of the two, because there's so much debate about them and people getting them both mixed up. But yeah, this one is 100% Stromathy tricolor, and the other one is not. Oh, another thing that I didn't mention earlier in terms of care for propagating. So pretty much for all Calathea apart from 1 or 2 that I have. One I think that I'll show you, I'll talk about it when I get to it. But you need to propagate by division, so that means you need to separate them at the root ball. You can't take a cutting and then root it. The same with this guy. I'd have to separate it, so probably like take this bunch for example and separate it from this other bunch to be able to propagate or divide it. So yeah, that's called propagating by division, and that's what you do for Calathea. Super easy care. I find I've seen so many posts about people saying, oh, like I can't look after it, like what do you do? Honestly, what do? I let it dry out between watering, like fully. Sometimes the leaves will start to curl like this, and then I know, oh, I definitely need to water him. So try not to wait that long because it's not great for the plant, or their leaves get like really floppy. But yeah, like now he's super light. I can see the soil's dry, so after this video I'm gonna water him. Yeah, I only water with distilled water or rainwater. I have fertilized this guy. This is one of the only ones I fertilized because I felt confident enough that he would be fine. So I fertilized him, didn't have any issues, just used like a normal, just a general fertilizer. Yep, no issues, and I keep him right here beside me basically. So this is the amount of light he gets. So yeah, like I said, medium to bright depending on the season. He just grows non-stop. I find them super easy care, like even easier than my koyan. Just so easy care. And he sits by a door as well, so he gets a breeze sometimes. Doesn't seem to affect him. Like he doesn't seem to mind if he gets cold. I've never had any issues with crispy tips. Like all his tips are absolutely fine. Yeah. Anyway, that's him. Stunning. The next one I haven't had for very long, so I don't have that much to say about him, but he's quite cute. This is Califia Freddy, I believe it is. I got this guy, if you have watched my Tauranga Plant Fest video, I got him in Tauranga when I was with my friend Chantal. Not from the Tauranga Plant Fest, but from a little store we went to the day before for a really good price. I'd seen them before online and I'd never seen one in person, so I saw it and I was like, get in it, so I got it. I don't know what it is about him. I just like the leaves. He just looks so dainty. So yeah, I haven't had him for very long, so I don't have much to say about it. So far, so good. Like I have not had any issues. Don't have any crispy leaves. And again, I let him dry out between waterings. And I have him in the same spot as my stromanthe, so he gets medium-ish filtered light, but kind of all day light. And yeah, that's him. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about him, but he's very cute. Okay, next, one of the fussiest Calatheas. Oh, so fussy. This is my Calathea Vitata. Man, this guy and I we've been through some stuff, I tell you that. He is so tiny too. I got him as quite a large plant from King's Plant Barn. I think it was like $30, $35, not too expensive. I've seen them around recently actually. Yeah, I lost so many leaves, like so many leaves. I think we got down to about 2 at one point. Major crisp, just all his leaves would they'd grow in brown basically. I'd have to cut it off. I was very close to giving up on him. And all I did was I chucked him in the bathroom. I started watering him when he got dry, and pretty much all of the leaves that you see now, minus this one, because I know this is an old one because it has some crisp on it. But basically all of these other leaves are ones that have grown since he's been in the bathroom, and you can see he's got a new one growing here. The one that grew before that was this one, I think. It's probably the biggest leaf. Since I started letting him dry up between waterings and put him in the bathroom where there's extra humidity, no issues. So like I was saying before about humidity, this guy seems to love it. I didn't always have him in the bathroom, and just, yeah, no matter what I did, just brown and crispy. A lot of people were telling me that it needs like 100% humidity or something crazy. I don't think it gets that much in the bathroom, but it's probably like maybe 80% all day, but it always, every day, at least twice, it gets a good dose of humidity from me and my partner having our showers. And yeah, that seems to be enough to keep him happy. So I've seen some that are really big and the leaves can get really massive. Like his leaves are very small, but I've seen some with huge leaves. So they can get bigger as they mature. They don't always stay this small. So yeah, that's him, Calathea Vittata. Fussy. So fussy. And next, I'll show you this guy. He's so big. Oh, I watered him yesterday and he's so heavy. Oh, I don't even know how to fit him in here. This guy. Come all the way back. You can see him. He's huge. This is my Miranta Lecunera. Don't know. I'll put a text somewhere with his name. His nickname is Rabbit's Foot. He's a Marante. He's my only Marante. No, I lied. He's one of my only Maranta. I have two. He's my first Marante that I got. He's big. He's huge. I don't know what he's doing. I just took some cuttings of him recently because I want to put them back in here. He's got this really empty spot here, so I want to put one in here, and he's got another empty spot on the other side because he's basically just, all of him is growing out of two little spots. So yeah, this guy is one of the ones I mentioned before. This one you can propagate by cuttings, so it does actually have nodes, whereas a lot of other Calathea etc do not. So you can see it's got a node here, so I would cut it about here where my finger is, and I could pop that in water or however you want to propagate it, and it will develop roots. I actually have some propagating in water. I'll go grab them in a second and show you, because I think one of them has started to root, so you can see. Okay, here you go. Here's the cutting that I took. So the root's very small, but can you see there is a little root right here, and there's actually a tiny one on this side, but this one's the most noticeable. So yeah, it's growing roots from the node. So he's just been in water. He hasn't done much because obviously it's winter time. It's going to take a while, but yeah, eventually when the roots are big enough, I will pop this piece back in the pot. So that will get in third, and then I've got another one that's done nothing. So eventually there'll be two cuttings I will add in just to help him be, like at the moment he's kind of growing like this, and I want him to be more circular, so like bushing in all directions, not just like that. So yeah. Oh, sorry if you can see black stuff on it. It's my partner's beard hair. Yeah, he always gets covered in beard hair whenever he shaves. I just noticed some. Anyway, poor guy. When I got him, he had mealybug. I treated it and it basically lost all its leaves. It hated neem oil, it seems. It lost a whole bunch of leaves. They just started to go yellow. I think I got down to 2 or 3 leaves, maybe a couple more. Didn't do anything for ages. I chucked it in the bathroom, boom, it went off, and it has not stopped ever since. I'll see if I can find a picture. I don't know if I have one still, but at one point in spring he flowered, which was really cool. I can't remember if it was a white flower or purple flower, but he flowered. So if I can find a picture of that, I'll pop it in here somewhere so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, so that's this guy. I don't know what to do with him. He's just so floppy. Okay, Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is very similar to the one I just showed you, but it is different. So it's this guy. This is, well, I bought it as a Marante silver stripe. I'm not 100% sure if that's correct or not. I mean, it definitely has a silver stripe, but it's also got very black markings. So there's another Marante that's very similar that's got a different name. So I'm not sure 100% which one it is. If you know, please pop a comment down below, because yeah, I would like to know which one it actually is. So I got this guy off of Trade Me. You can't get this particular Marante in any stores. It's not commercially available at the moment. I'd never seen it before. I saw it on Trade Me. I was like, oh my gosh, got it for a really good price. So I was very happy. I picked it up. It had 6 leaves, 2 growth points. Both were rooted. I repotted it. Most of the leaves were like yellow, so I was like, oh, this isn't a great sign. I was hoping that it would do better once I got it home and into my bathroom where it's nice and humid. But this leaf grew within like a day or two of me bringing it home, and all the other ones went yellow and fell off. So this is all I'm left with. I have no idea if the second growth point is still in there somewhere. It might be, who knows, maybe one day the second growth point will pop up, I don't know. So that's really unfortunate. But I have him in my fish tank now, so I'm hoping that that will encourage some new growth for him. Because yeah, I really don't want to lose him because he's so unique and I don't think many people have him. But yeah, I would love to know actually, if you do have one of these and you live in New Zealand, then please pop a comment down below, because I'd love to know like how common or not they are, because I think they're very uncommon, maybe even rare, I don't know. But the price was definitely not a rare price tag, so yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, if you do, please let me know. That would be great. The next one, I've also moved to my fish tank because it's not doing very well. I kind of want to buy a new one and add it to this one so it's more full. But this is my Calathea Beauty Star. Well, it's actually a beauty star, but in New Zealand we call it beautiful star. But overseas they call it beauty star, not beautiful star, so I call it beauty star. I don't know. Beautiful star to me sounds like incorrect grammar, so I call it beauty star. So that's him. He's pretty common. I got him from Church Street Garden Central, but I've seen them at Kings and Palmers and all over the place, so they pop up now and then. A few years ago you couldn't get these in New Zealand, so yeah, like a year or so ago they got released commercially, which is great. So now everyone can get them because they're so beautiful. So if you can see, it's got light pink stripes, which is what made me really like them. And I also like how lime they are. I don't know, I think they're just beautiful. They have purple backs on their leaves. Yeah, this guy's just not happy. He hasn't grown a leaf since I got him. A lot of them went brown and fell off, so I've had to cut a whole bunch off. But yeah, I put him in my fish tank and I'm hoping that that will help and maybe cheer him up. It's got a grow light now. It didn't have much light before, so it might be one of those Calathea that needs a little bit more light. And I think it needs a little bit more humidity as well, potentially. Because yeah, I just couldn't stop the browning. It just kept happening. So yeah, that's him, Calathea Beauty Star. Who knows, I might buy another one and add it to it. We'll see. I'll see how it goes in the fish tank and then decide. But yeah, he's beautiful anyway. I don't have much to say about him because yeah, I haven't figured this one out yet. And I'm hoping that the fish tank will help. And if not, who knows. Okay. The next plant I will show you is this guy. He's beautiful. Calathea Mosaica. Isn't he beautiful? I'm trying to like show you how beautiful his leaves are. They're just stunning. So yeah, obviously he's called Califia Mosaica because he has this mosaic kind of pattern on his leaves. So you can see he's got a leaf growing here and a leaf growing here, so I'm very excited about that. So this guy, you've probably seen him before if you've watched my Tauranga Plant Fest video. I got him there at the Tauranga Plant Fest. I actually already had one. I had a 1 leaf rooted but very small cutting, and I saw this at the Plant Fest. Pretty much this size minus the 2 new leaves that are growing. For the same price that I paid for my 1 tiny little leaf. So I sold my 1 tiny leaf and bought this one because he's nice and big and I didn't want to wait so long for him to grow. I was a bit impatient. But I'm very happy to have him in my collection. These guys are kind of uncommon They're not so much rare anymore, but definitely uncommon. You can't get them commercially, so you can't get them from a plant store, but you can get them online. People quite often sell them on Trade Me and places like that. I can't wait till he's nice and big and full. It's great that he's got 2 new leaves growing, which means that he's probably quite happy, and he lives in my bathroom as well. Yeah, he's stunning. I've seen like nice big full ones of them, and oh, beautiful. This guy was on my wish list for probably like 2 years before the price came down enough that I was happy to pay for one. Plus I didn't want to get one when I was still learning about Califia and when most of mine were dying, because I didn't want to pay like the price tag that they were at a few years ago and then for him to just die. That would suck. But I think that I've got them sussed enough that he'll survive. And I've also heard that he's quite easy care. The lady that I bought him off said that she's killed a lot of the more common Calathea, but she's never killed one of these, so that gives me hope. So yeah, that's him, Califia Mosaica. One last little look at those stunning, stunning leaves. Beautiful. Okay, the next plant I'm going to show you is massive, so I don't know how he's going to fit. Here he is. It's so big. There he is. This is my Calathea rufibaba. Oh god, he's so big. I'll just pop him kind of down here. So yeah, he's really big. This guy is... Actually, I lied before when I said that my rattlesnake was my first Calathea. This was my first Calathea. I didn't know it was a Calathea though when I got it. It took quite a while till I actually realised that it was one. So me and my partner bought this guy ages ago, like even before I was into plants, probably like a year before I got into plants. I think he's like maybe 3 years old now, roughly. He lived in a glass bowl that had no drainage and we didn't water him ever, and he survived. So this guy, I don't think you can kill it, to be honest. Like I couldn't kill it. Lived in our kitchen, probably a good maybe 2 or 3 meters away from the nearest light source, so he does fine in low light. And look how big he got. So I only repotted this guy not that long ago, probably a year and a half ago maybe. I took him out of that terrible pot because I knew more about plants at this point, and I was like, wow, how is he alive? Took him out. His roots were pretty much non-existent, like so much root rot, it was ridiculous, yet he was still pumping out leaves. Like he probably had this much root. It was nothing. I was like, how have you survived this long? The cool thing about this guy is not just that he has the purple back of the leaves, but he's furry. So he is so fluffy. Even his stem is fluffy. So that's really cool. These are really common. Yeah, you can get them anywhere, like anywhere. And normally pretty cheap as well. But yeah, that's the Calathea rufibaba. Okay, the next one I'll show you guys is this fussy guy. This is a Calathea zebrina. He's beautiful though. His leaves are so striking. This guy seems to be one of the fussiest plants, Calatheas, plants in general ever. I always see posts about this guy. This is my second one of these. My first one died. Yeah, couldn't keep it happy. This one also nearly died. All its leaves went brown and crispy and they curled up and they were wrinkly. And yeah, he was pretty much on the verge of death. I was like, you know what, I'm going to chuck him in the bathroom. I'm going to see what happens. Chucked him in the bathroom. Boom, fine. So yeah, again, as he would grow a new leaf, I would cut an old leaf that was ugly off. So now we're pretty much down to all nice leaves. I don't think there's any ugly leaves on him still. And he's putting out leaves at a pretty decent rate, even in winter time. I think that's toothpaste, so just ignore that little white spot on that leaf. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just toothpaste. Yeah, it's toothpaste. So yeah, he lives on our sink, so he gets toothpaste on him. Oh, this leaf is one of the old leaves, so I've cut it because it was wrinkly. But yeah, he's beautiful. So this guy needs a lot of humidity. If he doesn't have enough humidity, he will get crispy. I also let him dry out between watering, and again, since I've been doing that, he's been way happier and way less crispy leaves. So combination of humidity, a little bit more light than he did have before, and drying out between watering has meant that he is now pretty much crisp free, so that's great news. And some of these leaves are quite a few months old and they still don't have any crisps, so that tells you something. So look, not a bit of crisp inside. Beautiful. So that's my Calathea Sabrina. He's so beautiful. He's actually really pretty on camera. Okay, we're also out in the garden. You can see begonia there. I just wanted to show you guys this guy because he's also part of my Califia Marante collection, but he lives outside. So this is my golden mosaic, is the common term for him, but he is a ctenanthe pilosa, I think it is. Again, I'll put the name on the screen somewhere, but yeah, I wanted to show you guys him because he's doing really well outside. I planted him in spring, so he sits behind the shrub, so he doesn't get any direct light, so he's in a sheltered position. But yeah, he's doing so well. These 3 leaves are actually all new, but he's so cool. Sorry if you can hear the dog in the background barking. So he's beautiful. He's got this lovely golden variegation. And yeah, he's doing really well in the garden, so I'm happy to just leave him here. And if we ever move house, I'll probably just dig him up and take him with me. But I just didn't have room for him inside. I really wanted it. I saw this guy at King's. He was a really good price. I was like, you know what, there's a gap in the garden, I'm going to put it in there. So that's what I did. So yeah, he's beautiful. Okay, here we go. This is my last one that I have to show you. I had to move him outside so I could get a proper view of him because he is massive. This is my ctenanthe tricolor. Isn't he stunning? This guy I got from Rogers in Auckland probably 2.5 years ago. I don't know. He was $12, as I recall. Obviously he was not this big. This guy just grows like crazy, just non-stop. Yeah, he's beautiful. Love his variegation. He sits in my entranceway, so he gets a breeze sometimes. He doesn't seem to mind. This guy, I've heard you can keep him outside. It did actually say on the tag that you could, and he was outside when I bought him. But so far he's lived inside. Yeah, he's so big, he kind of takes up the most room in my house of any of my plants. So maybe in spring I might move him outside, but I don't want to do it while it's still cold because I don't want him to go into shock or freak out. So he has different amounts of variegation. Some leaves don't have much at all, like this one, and some have heaps. This is my favourite leaf at the moment. It's got minty, like lime, pale green, minty stripes. I don't know what it's doing, but it's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, this guy has flowered for me many times. I'd say 6 or 7 times, a lot, and he just grows non-stop. Look, he doesn't ever stop growing. He's not stopped growing since I bought him, however many years ago that was. I also find that in some seasons his leaves grow in wrinkly like this, or deformed. This one's a bit deformed. It's got this weird bump at the side, but yeah, I just ignore it. I've heard that it's a lack of humidity, but I mean, he's growing, so I'm not too fussed by it. And then he'll grow leaves that don't have any wrinkling. So yeah, that's him. And I'll grab my Stromathy and we'll do a little comparison so you can see the difference. Okay, here's my Stromathy. Obviously, one difference is the size, but Stromathy can grow to the same size as this, so one of the differences is not size. Mine's just a baby juvenile Stromathy. They can get to this size as well. This guy just happens to be more mature. So one thing that is a big difference for me that I can see is the variegation. So for me, if you look at a Stromathy's leaves, the variegation is kind of blurry, so it all blurs into one. Whereas if you look at the tricolor, it's more stripy. I don't know if you can see that. To me it's obvious, but for some people it doesn't seem to be very obvious. Another thing is that he has a pink stems. So his stems are pink. This guy's stems are not pink, they're like greeny brown. It's another difference that I can see. I'm not really an expert on this, but those are just the two major differences that, for me, that's how I tell them apart. And yeah, just how the variegation looks. It's just, to me, it looks different. This is just more stripy, this is more blurred. So those are the major differences that I can tell. I know there's some more that are quite scientific, but I don't know about them. Yeah. But anyway, we've come to the end of this video, so if you liked it, please give this video a like, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, please do so. I would love for you to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!